Okay guys, it is the hottest day ever. I'm literally sweltering. I am filming this in probably the hottest room in my house, but it's where I film my YouTube videos, so we're just gonna have to deal with it. And to be honest, actually, I don't even think so. I think just every room is hot at this point. I am literally sweating, but I'm gonna do my best. This video is about something that I am super passionate about, and I just really hope that this helps at least one of you watching this. That would mean so much to me. It's something that I've really struggled with throughout my fitness journey. I need a drink already. Guys, I'm so sorry. I do want to give a really good video because it is a topic that I am really passionate about, but I am absolutely melting and it's just roasting as well. But I don't want to wait. I want to film it, and it's going to be hot for like the next God knows how long. Okay, we might just need to have a few little drink breaks, hydration breaks. I really struggled with binging and restricting. So I restricted, which then led to binging, that restriction binge cycle. I didn't know how to get out of that. I honestly just thought that that was the way it was. And if I wanted to reach my fitness goals, which I really did, like passionately really did, like a lot of us do, I thought that I had to give up food, if that makes sense. Like, not completely, but give up like the enjoyment of food and just eat salads and chicken and rice and all that kind of thing. We will get into it, but basically I really struggled with that, and I just couldn't see a way out, and I didn't think there was. I think it's kind of becoming more known now that there is a way out in society. Maybe, I'm not really sure, maybe that's just kind of who I surround myself with, and because I do know, maybe that's why I feel that way. But now I'm sitting here and I 100% know I have found complete food freedom. I enjoy food so much. I always have. I'm a food gal. I love carbs. I eat pasta every single day. I just love food. I love chocolate. I love sweets. I'm a food girl. And so when I thought that I couldn't have that side of things and I had to let go of all of that to achieve my fitness goals, it just didn't work. And actually, I just don't really think it works for anyone. Food is to be enjoyed. We are human beings. We are meant to eat. Food is fuel. Food is fun. Food is enjoyment. It's life, right? Isn't food just one of the best parts of life? Restriction and binging is something that a lot of clients, I should probably just mention at the very beginning, I am a personal trainer and online coach, so I coach people all around the world. I offer my clients workout programs, but alongside that I also do help them through things such as restriction and binging, and really help them develop a good relationship with food as well, because that is a huge part of a fitness journey. So I feel like I've already been speaking for a very long time. I do want to get straight into the video, but I just kind of wanted to give a background of how I have struggled with this myself. And now I sit here and I know 100% I've helped clients with it. I know from my own journey, you can have food freedom and achieve your fitness goals at the same time. You do not need to give up the amazing food, the amazingness that is food, to achieve your fitness goals. You don't have to be unhappy. Restriction is unhappy. Restriction does lead to binging. And it's just a really horrible cycle. And I know how awful, just how awful and how such a failure it can make you feel. And you also can't really achieve your fitness goals really whilst being in that cycle, because it just affects that, because obviously you then binge, which then kind of loses your progress. And yeah, so I'm sitting here today and I want to just at the very beginning of this video let you guys know that it is possible, and that is why I'm sat here. That's why I do the job that I do. That's why I am a personal trainer and an online coach. I don't speak about this a lot on my YouTube channel, like I do a lot of lifestyle bits and things too, but I do want to kind of incorporate more fitness into my YouTube. I do kind of little bits, but yeah, this was a really important video for me to make. Okay, I'm gonna get into the video now. I hope I've kind of like set the scene, and I really hope that this helps one of you out there. And if you are interested in my coaching at all and do feel like you'd need some support from me or I could help you, I'll leave a link in the description box down below of where you can inquire to my coaching and we can have a chat. You aren't signing up to anything, you can just inquire and then have a chat with me. We can discuss things and then we can see if it's right for you, and if it's not, that's okay as well. Okay, let's get into the video. I have got a notebook here with a list of things. I've not written a script or anything, I don't really work that way at all, but I have just written like notes and then I'll chat, so we'll see how it goes. I haven't actually even mentioned the title. It will be on YouTube anyway, but this is all about how I stopped binging, how you can stop binging, and my tips of how to stop binging and reach your fitness goals and develop whilst having a really nice, healthy relationship with food. So this is how I stopped binging and this is how you're going to stop binging. The first thing that I did was stopped categorizing food as good and bad. I think this is a massive thing in society. It 100% is, I don't think I know, where we seem to categorize foods as being healthy or unhealthy, good or bad. This was and is a huge reason why we develop like toxic relationships with food, because we do have these labels on foods of being good and bad. And it isn't easy, I know it isn't easy, none of these points are easy. I can't kind of just tell you the points and then it's going to be easy. It does take time. There is no such thing as bad foods, okay? The only bad foods are ones you're allergic to, ones you don't like. Other than that, you should not be avoiding foods, like groups of foods. So for example, carbs, seeing them as being really bad, seeing chocolate as being really bad, having that image in your mind of that food group is just really, really toxic. And actually, when we tell ourselves that something is bad, it's probably gonna make you want it more. That's kind of how this works, and we will get into that a little bit more through this video. But just viewing foods as good and bad is really, really toxic and unhealthy. And yeah, like I said, unless you've got an allergy, unless you don't like the food, they are full reasons, good reasons to avoid foods. Other than that, there's no bad food, and it is basically just everything in balance. So there was a point where I thought that if I could just eat all the good foods and completely avoid the bad foods, that is what would help me reach my fitness goals. But actually realizing that there's no good and bad, and actually having them and them together is what is the best. The second point is a really, really, really important one. I mean, they all are, but this one super important. I stopped ignoring my hunger cues. So I used to feel hungry and I would try and suppress that hunger. I would try and ignore it. If I was hungry, I'd try and, you know, get through the day. You know, I'd try and think, oh no, just wait until my tea, just wait until lunchtime, try not to have any snacks. And I would really, really suppress that hunger. So my body would be screaming to me, wanting food, but I would ignore that and try and put it to the side and get on with my day. And basically just, I tried to just eat less by ignoring my hunger. I mean, I know now that that is just the worst thing you can do. If you are hungry, you're hungry for a reason. Your body needs fuel. And honestly, suppressing that and trying to ignore that is only going to make things worse. Now, if I am hungry, I will eat. I will never, ever, ever feel hungry and purposely ignore that. If anything, now if I'm hungry and I'm out and about and I've not got food, I actually panic a little bit. I'm like the total opposite. I panic because I'm like, my body needs food, my body needs food. Get me food now, like I need to get food now, my body needs it. So I've just had that massive shift of, instead of ignoring that hunger, actually realizing that that hunger is there for a reason, and ignoring that hunger is only harming myself, and it's just the completely wrong thing to do. So yeah, I stopped ignoring my hunger, and if I was hungry, if I am hungry, I eat. Number 3, relates to kind of like the toxic diet culture that has kind of lessened now, but it is still definitely there. And I stopped trying to follow an unrealistic diet for me. And by this I mean the toxic sort of fitness girl diets that I no really longer see it because I don't follow that side of things, but it's definitely still there. And I have clients coming to me where they've been kind of given that idea from their previous coaches or trainers that that's how you should be eating, and kind of just this fitness girl diet. Honestly, it kind of ties in with bits I've already said and bits I'm going to say, but I did just kind of want to mention it because I felt it was important. You don't need to follow a fitness girl diet. Like, and honestly, having that mindset at the beginning of my fitness journey just really was really toxic for my relationship with food, because as I mentioned at the beginning, I just thought that that's what I had to do to achieve the results I want, and it just isn't. You do not have to eat oats. If you like oats, eat them 100%. There's nothing wrong with them. I'm just kind of giving examples here of like my own journey. I thought every morning for breakfast I had to eat oats and like yogurt for breakfast every single morning. And I am a gal who has eaten cereal for my breakfast like my whole life. I love oats, and I do have oats sometimes, you know, when I feel like it, but I'm a cereal gal, and trying to completely just never have cereal for breakfast and only having oats because I thought that's what I had to have wasn't right for me. Another example, having chicken and rice for tea, or just having a protein source with a really plain carb, or just like these really generic fitness girl diets that you might see. You do not have to follow this. You do not have to eat what anyone else is eating. And do you know what? If that works for some people that you see online, some trainers, some coaches, some just gym goers, if that works for them and they really enjoy eating that every single day, that is great, but you don't have to. And I just think I definitely fell into the trap where I felt like I had to eat this fitness girl diet to get the results I wanted, and that was just really toxic and really restrictive for me personally. I feel like when you feel you have to eat something, maybe it's like the rebellious side of your brain just kind of, you just feel restricted, you know? It's like when you're a little kid and you're told to sit on one spot, you want to move. I don't know, it just made me feel so restricted. I don't want to have to be told what I have to eat, because then I'm going to think about all the other things I could be eating, and it's just going to make me feel restricted, and that's probably going to lead to me wanting to binge because I'm restricting those foods out of my diet. So yeah, to summarize that point, I stopped trying to follow an unrealistic diet for me and stopped trying to stick to this gym girl, fitness girl, aesthetic, healthy girl diet. Number 4, a big one, an important one. I have carbs with every single meal now. This kind of relates to the whole thing of not seeing food groups as good and bad, and not trying to avoid food groups. I definitely tried to avoid carbs. Honestly, I might pop in a photo here, or I might not, we'll see, I'm not sure. I was looking at my Snapchat. I don't use Snapchat now, but like my memories, because I remember taking them, of like meals that I had like at the beginning of my fitness journey. And honestly, I would literally just have loads of like green veg for my lunch with like egg, and that would be it, because I just thought that if I could not have carbs, and if I could not have carbs with a meal, that it would be so much better, less calories, less fattening, and it would just be so much better. But again, now I'm the opposite. Oh my gosh, when I lived at home, I now have moved out, but when I lived at home earlier this year, you could ask my parents, if they like cooked a family meal and it had no carbs with it, I would just be like, but where are the carbs? We need carbs. We need carbs with it. Like, what are the carbs gonna be? Are we gonna have some noodles with that? Are we gonna have some pasta with that? And yeah, I can't imagine now having a meal without carbs because I would just not feel satisfied. And they are so, so important. They are not bad, they are fuel. My body needs carbs, okay? And I know you get like, is it keto diets where you don't eat carbs? If it works for you, you know, and if you don't feel restricted with that, then great, go for it. But I think the majority of the population, and definitely me, I need carbs. I would feel so restricted without carbs. I did, hence why I used to binge, because I would have these like just veg and eggs or like whatever protein source, meat at the time. I don't eat meat now, but I did used to at the start of my fitness journey, so it would probably be like chicken with like veg, and that would be it. That would then lead to me binging because I was restricting. So now I eat carbs with every single meal. Honestly, I'm trying to think if like when there would be an occasion where I wouldn't, and I can't think of one. Soup? No, because I would have bread with it. Yeah. Carbs with every meal. You need it. You need carbs with every meal. That is what is gonna keep you satisfied for longer. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine not having carbs with a meal. It just wouldn't be a meal. That would be a snack. It wouldn't even be a snack. Number 5, I stopped ordering salads and only salads when I went out for a meal. Now, this was kind of a phase at the beginning of my fitness journey where kind of ties into lots of other points that I've mentioned, but I would go out for a meal and feel like I could only order a salad, and that would be all I would order. I'd like sit and look at like the mac and cheese and like the, oh, what else do I enjoy off a menu? Mac and cheese, like sausage and mash, like, oh, just anything, you know, like anything, burgers, anything. And I'd sit there and be like, oh my God, imagine like how good would it be to be able to pick that or like be able to eat that. And then I'd go and order like a really boring salad. Honestly, I used to go to Nando's. And order just a salad, which by the way is completely okay. Some days, if I don't never eat salads now, I will happily enjoy a salad, but it's because I actually feel like it and I want it. I never have a salad out of restriction and not because I'm not allowing myself to have anything else, if that makes sense. So yeah, there was a phase where I would only ever order a salad off a menu, or like the least calorie thing, or yeah. So now when I go out, which by the way, when you go out, it's an occasion, it's a treat, you know, I order whatever I want off the menu, and it's happiness, guys. That is food freedom, and that is what you should be able to do. 100%. Honestly, life is far, far, far too short for any of this, and to not be able to go out and order what you want off a menu. You're literally paying for that, and imagine just like paying and not even being happy with what you're getting. It's so sad. It really is, and it's something that so many of us struggle with. So yeah, I do hope this video does help. Number 6, I eat something unhealthy every single day. So an unhealthy treat, should we say, every single day without fail. Whether that's a Kit Kat chunky, which by the way, in the peak, pit would be different, wouldn't it? That would be the opposite. In the peak of my like restriction binging time, I would go and buy a pack of Kit Kat chunkies, and I would eat a multi-pack, and I would eat all 4 one after the other, like literally uncontrollably. I would not be able to stop. At the time, I kind of like laughed about it, but kind of felt awful. Like I'd laugh about it with my flatmates about like how I just done this, and I'd literally feel so awful inside. I'd be like, what was wrong? What is wrong with me? Why can't I stop eating this? And the problem was I didn't let myself have these Kit Kat chunkies, my fave chocolate bar ever, by the way. I wouldn't let myself have them because I'd see them as bad, and I'd try and restrict them, you know. I'd try and have one like once every 2 weeks or something as like a treat, so that when I did go and have it, I uncontrollably, one after the other, ripped it open, ate it, next one, and just could not stop, and then felt awful afterwards. So now instead of trying to restrict these things from my diet, the Kit Kat Chunky is just an example. So anything, chocolate bar, a donut, a cookie, anything that is considered like a really, an unhealthy treat, should you say, I have it one every single day. I can't really remember when I haven't, because that is what keeps me just in check. Like, I have balanced meals, I have carbs with every meal, they're balanced, but every single day I need that treat, and that is what keeps me feeling really unrestricted, really satisfied, and I never ever now feel the need to have more than one. And if I did, I'd have it, and I'd have two, and then I would never need more than two. But I can't even remember a time when that's happened. I only ever need one, because after that I'm satisfied. And yeah, it's just crazy, the difference. So I have something, an unhealthy treat, I say unhealthy because obviously it isn't unhealthy, every single day. And yeah, I really, really, really stand by that. I also just want to add that I do not feel bad about having that at all. Like, when I have it, that is not like seen with guilt. There is no guilt whatsoever, because it's completely normal. It isn't bad, they're not unhealthy. It's all, these things are healthy as part of whatever else you've eaten that day. It isn't unhealthy, and there should be no guilt for having something like that every single day. Also, when I say I have one unhealthy treat a day, sometimes it'll be more than that. And when I say I don't need more than one, I mean like in a row, like a Kit Kat and then another one, or a cookie and like seven, like the whole bag. But I do sometimes, of course, have like multiple. So like I'll have some sweets, you know, at lunchtime, and then I'll have a Kit Kat later on. Like, yeah, so I just wanted to clear that up. It's not like I restrict myself to only one a day. Definitely not. Although a lot of the time I only feel like I need one a day because of that lack of restriction. Hope that makes sense. The last little point that I feel is important to make is I stopped following accounts on like social media that made me feel like I needed to restrict my diet. I just kind of stopped following accounts that kind of ate in a way that I felt was restrictive. Because that just isn't really helpful, and it kind of just was that like niggling voice in the back of my head. It kind of just didn't help that. So when I was kind of trying to stop binging, yeah, just unfollow accounts that kind of live a lifestyle that is unrestricted. Sorry, what's the word? That is restrictive to you and unrealistic to you, because that just isn't helpful. Start following accounts that, you know, have good like promote healthy relationships with food whilst reaching your fitness goals. I think that is really, really important, and will really, really help you develop that healthy mindset yourself. That is all of my points. But yeah, at the end of the day, life is far too short. It really is possible to achieve your fitness goals whilst having a healthy relationship with food, enjoying the foods that you love. And at the end of the day, binging comes from restriction. So the human mind is funny. If we restrict something, it only makes you want it more. If you're told you're not allowed something, like going back to the Kit Kat Chunky, an example, if in your head you're not allowed that Kit Kat Chunky, that is there in your head, and it's niggling in your head, and it's just not going to go away. And if anything, it makes you want it more because you've told yourself you can't have it. And that is kind of how the cycle works. So it's about trying to, like, if there's a seesaw and this is like the restriction, it's about trying to like balance it out and let yourself have these things, so you no longer are like so desperate to have them and like uncontrollably can't stop yourself eating, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's about finding that balance, allowing yourself to have these foods, realizing and acknowledging that they aren't bad, they aren't awful, you shouldn't restrict them from your diet. And yeah, I am now in a really happy place. I would really say total food freedom, like 100%. I never feel bad. Even days where I'll eat more than usual. Like, I have days where I feel like I can't stop eating, and that is normal. That isn't necessarily binging. I have those days where I'm like, I eat something, I'm still so hungry, so I eat something else. I have those days and I don't feel bad about it because I know there's a reason for that, and it's just my body needing food and more fuel. So yeah, I am genuinely really happy with my like physique, and would say I've reached my fitness goals 100%. And I never reached my fitness goals when I was restricting and binging, never. And that was really unhappy, whereas now this is happy and I have reached my fitness goals. So I really think that these tips are the way to really reach your fitness goals, to stop binging, and just to be happy and healthy. So I know I've spoken for ages. I really hope this video helps. Please let me know if it has at all. I'd love to hear from you, and if you have any questions or anything, or if you're interested in my coaching, like I said, the link is in the description box. I really, really hope this helped, and yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in my next video. It is possible. I wish you so much luck. You have got this. If I can do anything to help, let me know. But you've got this, and life's too short and food's too yum. And there is a way out, and you can do it. So yeah, I wish you all the luck. It's not really luck, is it? I wish you the best. Really do. You've got this. And I shall see you guys in my next video. If you do want to follow me on Instagram, I do also post lots more fitness and food related stuff on my Instagram account, so that is kind of where I post lots of that stuff. So if you want to follow me over there, please feel free. I will leave it in the description box. It's just Lottie Lucy with 2 Y's. And yeah, I shall see you in my next video, guys. I need a drink now because I'm thirsty and it's roasting.